When I look at 3 different options, and one is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, one's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and one is a 6-acre ranch, what is gonna appeal to the masses more? Yeah, not the ranch for sure. So either the condo or the house. And most people are trying to get into a 3-bedroom house, a standalone single-family home. So if I had those 3 options, I'm definitely choosing the single-family house.
Welcome back to Build Your Business with Brittany, the real estate agent training series where we turn hustle into closings and knowledge into confidence. I'm Brittany Handura, real estate agent, coach, and investor, and I'm here to make real estate easy for you. I want to help you build a business you love and a life you're proud of. Let's dive in and level up your real estate game starting now.
Okay, so now let's dive in a little bit deeper to some of these sections. When we're preparing for our open house, what I want you to do is I want you to pull out a couple of things that you're gonna do that are really key for you to be able to schedule an open house this week or next week. Don't wait. This is not something that you have to wait until you're an expert on. If you're unsure, uneasy, visit an open house this weekend and see how they do it. Visit a couple of open houses, see how they do it, because you can do this. You should do this. So let's talk about preparing for the open house. Now I mentioned this, be strategic. So I'm gonna talk about some ways that we want to be strategic. Which agents should you contact? So remember, I already talked about the agents in your brokerage. You wanna contact the agents in your brokerage. And as you do this, you're gonna learn that there are some agents that you can and want to work with, and there are some agents that never ever let anybody do an open house because they have a big team and they don't want anybody but their team holding open houses. Then why are you gonna waste your time reaching out to them, right? I'm not gonna do that. But that's something that you learn as you go. Like, you know, I know there are a couple agents in this office that I wouldn't reach out to, but you guys don't know that. So you just learn by doing and hearing them say, I'm never gonna let you hold an open house, and you say, okay, I hear you. So you want to reach out and know which agents you should contact. And at first, that's just gonna be, you're kind of reaching out to all of them. But when you come into the office, when you meet these agents, you're gonna start, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies and learning all the people. And then when they have a listing that pops up, you're gonna say, oh, I met them. And you're gonna be able to reach out to them much faster and easier. Let's talk about the properties that you should prioritize. Now, when it comes to listing an open house, holding an open house, there are some things that I think about that if you as a new agent are saying, I don't care, I just want to do anybody who will say yes, great. But if you're trying to do this and really be strategic, there are some things that I do that I would recommend. Number one, I don't like to do a gated community because I don't like to spend all the hassle of like getting the gate code and opening up the gate and calling somebody, all that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna say, it's not worth it. I'll go to the open house down the street. Now, the flip side to this is that the people who are coming are gonna actually be really interested. They're gonna be willing to get that gate code. They're gonna be willing to go in. They're gonna be willing to do all of that stuff. So in general, I tend to stay away from gated communities. The other thing is that I like to appeal to the masses. And so when I look at 3 different options, and one is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, one's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and one is a 6-acre ranch, what is gonna appeal to the masses more?
Not the ranch.
Yeah, not the ranch for sure. So either the condo or the house. And most people are trying to get into a 3-bedroom house, a standalone single-family home. So if I had those 3 options, I'm definitely choosing the single-family house. Unless I'm trying to be strategic and say, you know what, I really want to break into farmland. I want to sell those, you know, that acreage properties. Then I would request that. But that's not me. I'm trying to appeal to the masses. And so I'm going to go for that 3-bed, 2-bath home every time. So prioritize the properties. I would also say when it comes to this is I like to try and do something that hasn't been sitting on the market for days and days and days and days and days and months and months and months. I want something that's relatively fresh and new to the market. So I try and get something that's under 14 days. Now, if it's 15 days or 21 days and I can't find anything else, then that's fine. But in general, my first priority is going to be something that's under 14 days. And again, you can filter through all this on your MLS. I'm not going to pull it up because my MLS is going to be different, but you can filter through all of these and find properties that you can prioritize, and it makes it much quicker and easier. So you can go through and call, 4 or 5 people to try and get an open house for this weekend pretty quickly and easily. Then we want to think about who will we bring. We already talked about this. I'm not going to bring another agent, but I might bring a lender, because then, especially if there is some kind of unique feature about this property that a lender can advise on. So maybe it's like there's an ADU on it. Maybe the lender can talk about how that person can get that income to qualify or whatever. If there's something unique, then I might bring a lender for sure to let them know what they can do. Otherwise, you can bring anybody. You can bring your mom, your sister, your aunt, your cousin. It doesn't matter. But I do recommend have someone check in on you and be strategic about it. Number 4, what should you spend your money on? I've been to open houses where they have like a whole spread of like gourmet sushi and all of this kind of stuff. If it's not my listing, I'm not doing that. If it is my listing and I want to do like a mega open house, then I might do something like that. But I'm not doing it if it's a listing that's not mine. So what should you spend money on? I do think you should have some refreshments, because remember, when you're at an open house, it's usually around, a lot of times it's around lunchtime. And so what you don't want is, you're getting into a conversation with mom and dad and the kids are melting down because you don't have anything for them to eat or do or drink or anything. So I try and have waters and basic snacks, like single serve snacks. I don't like anything that can get germs all over or sneezed on or coughed on. I don't like that, personally. I know lots of people who do have like cupcakes sitting out in a beautiful, arrangement, and I think it looks great, but you never know. You never know. So what do you spend money on? You're not spending money on a lot. You want to be strategic about what you spend money on. You want some refreshments, but minimal. It doesn't need to be huge and over the top. And if it's your own listing, it can be. You just have to figure out what is it that you want to do and be strategic. Be strategic about getting contact info. We'll talk about what are the best ways to get the contact info in a minute, so I'm going to move on. But you want to think about, how should I get this contact info? And then follow up. Make sure you are following up with absolutely everybody. Set that follow-up plan, because the fortune is in the follow-up. All right, here's another NAR stat. 50% of homeowners, 50%, 1 in 2 homeowners will consider selling their house within 3 weeks of a neighbor's house selling. That's a huge amount. If we're not going out and door knocking, door dropping, sending out mailers, whatever, we are leaving money on the table. I can't tell you, I just moved into my place in July. And before that, when I was running comps, another house had not sold there in like 3 years. It was really hard for me to find comps. After I bought, I think 6 houses came up in my little tiny community. And I was like, are you kidding me? Did I sell any of those? Not a single one. I was so upset. I was like, oh, you new neighbors, why aren't you using me? It would have helped if I let them know I was there, right? So we need to let people know we're here, we're ready, because people are going to start thinking about it. We want to be on their consideration set when they do. All right, so let's get real. Let's talk about real tactical things that you can do to get actual good leads that convert from an open house. You want to make personal contact with the neighbors. Based on what we just saw, we have to make that personal contact. So whether it's door knocking, door dropping, when they come in, we want to offer them a CMA, we want to offer them something of value, and we'll talk more about what we can offer in just a minute. Directional signs, so your open house signs, the more the better. I had a friend that I follow in Arizona, and he has a pretty large team, and he was hosting an open house in an area where they didn't allow open house signs on the street. And so he had like 100 open house signs on the front lawn. And it was just like, open house, open house. It was pretty funny. And I was like, you know what? That is great for social media and probably pretty funny for anybody who drives up there. So the more the better. You want to be strategic about where you place them. You want them to be in like the busy intersections that lead to the house. And then you want to make sure that you have something at the house that shows people, yes, you're in the right place. I've done that where I've kind of followed open house signs, and then I'm like a path of least resistance kind of person. And so if I am following open house signs and then it falls off or it's not like directly aimed at the house, and if I'm not 100% sure, I'm like, never mind. I'm just gonna go do something else. So you want to make sure, for the people like me who need it spelled out and a red carpet rolled out, you wanna make sure that you have all that for them. Okay, number 3, take a video for social media at the open house. So I like to do this before anybody gets there. And then if there are a lot of people, I might take a quick video of all the people there looking around. But in general, I'm not gonna be like, hey, this is our open house, come check out 123 Main Street with a bunch of people there. That's weird. So I'm wanting to do it like when nobody's there before I get started. I'll just take a quick video. And then there's gonna be downtime. And if there's not, great, amazing. But if there is downtime, you can edit your video and post it to social media. And if there's not any downtime, you can still post it to social media after your after your open house. Because remember, the whole point is that you want people to see that you're working. So even if you're saying, come on down to 123 Main Street, I'll be here till 3, and then it's so busy that you don't get to post it until after 3, you're still showing people that you're working. You're still showing, you can write in the description, wow, it was so jam-packed, I didn't even get a chance to post this until after, but what a great open house, what a great home, it was so amazing, come, let me know if you want to schedule a private showing. All video, specifically video, is gonna be great. And what I say too is if you're not comfortable being on video yet, this is a great opportunity for you to just do a video of the house and then plop some music over it and you're done. You can do templates in CapCut, it's super easy. And if you are prepared, or maybe you're trying to ease in, you could do a voiceover on top of that video and say, check out this open house I did at 123 Main Street, blah, 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 blah. And the next level up is actually putting yourself on video and saying, look at this amazing house, look at this amazing pool, I just love this, blah, blah, blah. So videos are key. We want to do videos. All of the social media platforms are heavily preferring videos, and they're pushing videos more than just static images. So make sure that you're getting comfortable with video. Number 4, provide refreshments. So we talked about what this looks like and how you want to be strategic, but you want to provide some kind of refreshment because you don't want Susie and Johnny melting down. You want to be able to say, here's some Oreos, or here's some water, or here's something that you can have, because you want to just make sure that if you're having a great conversation with mom and dad, that you can continue that conversation, and that is not what's hindering it. Number 5, provide valuable feedback to the seller or the agent about the open house. This is so huge. If you're the listing agent, you want to make sure that you're providing feedback, even if nobody was there. That is valuable feedback, because maybe you need to say, we need a price reduction. Telling them that we had an open house and nobody was there is going to be valuable feedback. If you are hosting an open house for somebody else, you want to let them know, this is how many people came. It was great. We had, 3 people interested. 2 people had agents, but they said they're going to be writing an offer. If somebody has an agent, but they say they're going to be writing an offer, you're kind of like out of the dynamic. But you're still able to let the listing agent know, hey, you can expect this. Here's the agent's name, whatever. That just shows that you are building value for them. And they're going to say, oh, I really liked her, I'm gonna use her next time. So remember, it's not just about the dollars you can make in that one, it's about the reputation that you're building. And then number 6, create the follow-up plan. This is where we're really talking about realistically, what do you do for an open house? You have to create this follow-up plan. And don't rely on your memory. Don't rely on saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick up the phone and I'm gonna call them, because number one, it's probably never gonna happen, or you're gonna be like putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. If you create this follow-up plan, there are portions of it at least that are gonna go through and do it automatically. Whether that's an email or a reminder to you, it's gonna be automatic. So you don't have to be the one thinking about it or actually trying to make it happen. So create that follow-up plan. The fortune is in the follow-up. Now I talked to you about, I said, we're going to get to talking about contact info and following up.
Before we continue, I want to remind you that if you're looking for even more real estate resources like an open house roadmap or a social media content calendar, then click the freebie link below, because I have all kinds of resources to make real estate easy for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and now let's jump back in.
So let's talk about signing in. Okay, so there are a couple different ways to, a couple different theories of signing in. Do we want to have absolutely everybody sign in, or do we want to cherry pick just the ones that we're having good conversations with? I'll give you a spoiler. Cindy says everyone. I'll give you a spoiler. I do a little bit of both. So let's talk about pros and cons of each of these. So when we're talking about everyone, there are pros and cons to both. So if we're having absolutely everybody sign in, anybody who walks in, we say, please go ahead and sign in for us. The pro to this is that you get contact info for everyone who walks in the door. That's a good thing, right? Well, the con to this is that you'll get a lot of fake names and fake contact info. You'll get a lot of those Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and that's not going to be beneficial to you. So then the opposite is going to be cherry picking. And there are pros and cons to this too, where we say, I'm only going to ask the people to sign in if we're having a conversation, or if we're getting, like they're asking me a question. The pro to this is you're going to get their real contact information, because you're providing something of value that they're going to want. So if they're saying, if you're saying, hey, this house might not be for you, but have you checked out 123 Main Street over there? It has everything that you need. Let me go ahead and send it to you. Well, now if you send it to them, now they're like, oh yes, I want that information. So here's my real contact info. So you're getting their real information. Of course, the con to this is you're going to miss some people who could be potential clients. If you're in the middle of a conversation and people walk in and just walk right by, you're going to miss out on them if you're not having everybody sign in. So that's why I say I do a little bit of both. When people walk in, I don't say sign in, sign in, sign in. I say, welcome, come take a look around here. Don't forget to check out that primary bedroom or the views or the pool or whatever. Let me know if you have any questions. Then they come back around and I say, oh, how did you like blah, blah, blah. Did you check out that closet in there? Wasn't it amazing? What do you think? I'm getting some feel for them. I'm building rapport. Then I say, are you thinking of buying? Are you just out here checking things out? What are you doing? And then based on that conversation, that's when I'm going to say, okay, go ahead and sign in. Let me get your contact info. I'm going to follow up with you about X, Y, and Z, whatever you asked about. And then I get their contact info. And I get their real contact info because I'm providing something that they want. If I'm in the middle of this conversation and somebody else walks in, I will say, oh, excuse me for a second. Hey, welcome to 123 Main Street, blah, blah, blah. Do you mind signing in? And then I come back to the conversation that I'm having. So if I'm mid-conversation and I can't have that conversation, I ask them to sign in. And then if they've signed in and then I'm able to have a conversation with them after, and they say, oh, will you send me that, MLS thing that you have? I say, oh, sure. This is the information I have. Is this the best email address for you? Is this the best phone number? And they can say, oh, actually send it to this one. Like, it's an easy way to say, oh, that was a fake one. Let me give you a different one. And so now, because I'm providing something of value, I'm going to get their real information. So that's how I say I do a little bit of a combo. I do a hybrid of this everyone and cherry picking because I do want real information, but I want to get as many people's info as I can. Okay, so I talked about offer items of value for the contact info because these people are going to give you their real information and you can follow up with them as real leads, when you give them something that they care about in return. If they don't care about what you're offering, then they are not going to give you their contact info. But if you offer something of value, they're going to say, oh yes, I want that. So that's why we have a couple of different options here, because you want to pick and choose what you have to offer. And you can say, oh, let me go ahead and send this to you. If they say, one of those is not for me, but I'll take this, you have a couple of different tools in your tool belt. All right, so number one, this is by far my favorite. Offer MLS info of other similar houses on the market. So this is gonna be for those people who say, I liked the layout, I like the area, but it's just not for me for whatever reason. You can say, oh, did you see this house on 123 Main Street? It is almost exactly what you're talking about. Let me go ahead and send it to you. And then you can text it to them, you can email it to them, whatever you wanted to do. This is really, really, really beneficial. What I like to do is I like to go through and print that out before I come, and then kind of highlight some of the important things on them, or like, you know, if one of them has a pool and one doesn't, if somebody's saying, oh, I would like it, I just would rather it have a pool. Oh, well, let's check out these because this one has a pool, this one doesn't, this one does. Let me send you the ones with a pool. You know, all of that kind of stuff makes it valuable to them. Now, I will say with a caveat to this, remember, we talk all the time about the buyer representation. When they come into an open house, they don't need to sign a buyer's representation. Now, you do have the form, the OHNA form, which is the open house sign-in form, and it kind of is like a releasing liability. I'm here on behalf of the sellers, blah, 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 blah. You do have that form that they can sign off on. But if you start taking them to see other properties, that's when you have to have a buyer's representation agreement. And you have two options. You can either go for the full buyer's representation agreement, the BRBC, or you can do the property specific one, the PSRA. I think that's what it is. What is it? You're right. Okay, PSRA. So you can do that property specific one to say, only if I'm representing these. So I've been working with investors a little bit in the recent past, and I'll send them that, the PSRA, because investors don't want an exclusive agreement. And so I could go through and I could check off all of the, make it non-exclusive, make it for only a period of time, or I could use the form that's dedicated to that, which is just property specific. So if you're talking to a buyer who's saying, well, I'm not ready to sign, but you have to have some kind of a signature, you can say, okay, well, you know, we have this PSRA, which is property specific, it's non-exclusive, so only if you work with me with these properties, I can represent you. And moving forward, after we do the buyer consultation, I would be happy to do a free buyer consultation for you. At that point, then that's when you get a full BRBC signed. So if you do end up showing them these houses, that's when you would need to get some kind of buyer representation signed. But at the open house, you don't need them to sign any kind of buyer representation. Number two, a CMA for the neighbors. So if somebody walks in and they say, no, I'm just a neighbor, don't worry, I'm just like a nosy neighbor, whatever, and you say, no problem, but I can give you a CMA. I can let you know what the value of your house is if you're interested. That's something that they might say, oh yeah, I am interested in that. Great, no problem. What's your email address? And I'll email it to you after this. Now I'm getting their real information because I'm giving them something of value. So remember, it's all about like who you're talking to. If somebody comes in and says, I'm just a neighbor, don't worry about me, I'm not gonna say, oh, well, have you seen this other house that's on the market? I'm gonna say, okay, no worries. I also can provide for you a CMA. I've been doing that for some of your other neighbors. That's now something that they are gonna be like, oh yeah, that's more for me. Number three, a lender programs showing favorable rates for your properties. So sometimes your property might be in an area where we used to have this community property program that it sounds like it's gone away, but if something like that came up again where this particular property has really good lending options, or they're just interested in seeing like, how much, what are the rates today and how much would I be able to get? You can have a flyer from your lender or something like that that is specific to the property. What I like to do is I like to only have one of those sheets that I can pull out and talk to them about it, and then I can say, oh, I can send this to you and a little bit more information. What's your email address or what's your phone number? And again, because it's something that they want, they're gonna give me their real information. I always do this, a flyer with a QR code to more information, which of course is my property landing page. So the flyer that I give them always has, this is what I do, always has a QR code on it so that they can scan in and go and look at other photos. And then at the bottom, there's a place for them, if they want more information, they can type in their information there. So a couple of ways to do it. This is just another like low-hanging fruit of what I want to say. Hey, if you want more information, click on that QR code and go and get, you know, it goes to my website, my landing page, all of that branded to me. Number 5, how to choose the right agent checklist. So this is going to be something where you're saying, here are questions that you want to ask your agent. And then of course, like you're going to say, how are you going to get the best deal for me? And then below that, you're going to give the answer for how you're going to get the best deal for them. So bless you. So this how to choose the right agent checklist I think is good, but if they're saying like, this is something that I would give if somebody's like, yeah, I'm in the market, but I'm not ready to sign anything, I would say, oh, smart, smart, smart. Here, let me give you a list of questions that you can ask any agents that you're interviewing. And that's something I would send to them. So, you know, it just depends on the conversation and where that conversation goes. Number 6. Send contact info of tradespeople to recommend. So this is going to be like if you have a preferred vendor list and somebody comes in and everything's like done and beautiful and it's a neighbor and they say, oh, I wish my house could look like this. You could say, oh, you know, I have a list of vendors who could help you or give you estimates or whatever. And again, it's another way to get that contact info. So you want to think about all different kinds of ways to be able to give items of value so that you can get their contact info. It's all about trying to give them what they want. Notice that all of these are totally different for different people that you're talking to. So whoever you're talking to, you're going to give something different. You're not going to give every single one of these things to every single person. You want to make it so that it is specific to the person that you're talking to. All right, let's talk about your follow-up plan. What should it look like? We're going to zoom through this. Of course, you want to thank you. You want to thank them right away for coming because this is just a way for them to remember you. So this might be an automated text if you wanted to send it, or if you're not that busy, you could send this text yourself. But on your we're talking about your follow-up plan. In general, there needs to be some kind of thank you. Number 2, answer any questions that they had. This is important first step to building a relationship. Do what you say you're going to do. You want to make sure that if they had any questions, you are following up. You're answering those questions because we need to do what we say we're going to do. And then number 3, a drip campaign. Send homes that are similar to the one they toured. Follow up once a month until they tell you to stop. So we want to make sure that they are, I would put them on a neighborhood nurture. I would put them into a drip campaign into the MLS, put them on a subscription to make sure that they're getting homes as they come out and it's directing them back to me. So again, until they tell me to stop, that's going to be going automatically in the background. So I'm going to be popping up in their email inbox a couple of times a month.
I hope that helped. And don't forget, we're here live every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join me live to get your questions answered in real time by registering at the link in the description below. Let's keep building, growing, and closing those deals. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with another agent who needs this. You've got this and I've got you. And I'll see you in the next video.